Hi everyone, welcome to my very first online tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to make your postcards, which you can either send to a friend or keep for yourself using homemade stamps and a jelly plate. This is what you'll need. First, you will need to draw an image onto some tracing paper. I drew this hummingbird by hand and traced over it so that I could get the image onto the rubber background. It's foam or rubber, craft rubber as they call it. This one is self-adhesive, but you can use a normal craft rubber as well. Cut the image out and then make a couple of layers of cardboard which you glue together. And then cover the cardboard with transparent tape so that it's protected from any paint or ink. Next step is to peel off the back or glue the foam onto the cardboard. That's the basis for the stamp. And the next thing I will do is fill in some details with a sharp metal pen, but a pencil is fine too. I used a StazOn Cherry Black to try out the stamp. This is to see if my carvings are going to turn out well or if I need to add more details. So I just try this on a scrap piece of paper to see what it will look like. Give it a good press. So this is the first version of the bird, and what I'd like to do is add a little bit more detail to the wings of the hummingbird. This foam is great to work with, it's easy to cut and you can use it several times, and once it starts fading a bit you can just go back in and fill in the details. So this is the sharp metal pen I use, but a biro is fine or a sharp pencil will be just as good. Okay, I'm going to try out this darker color. Part 2 of this tutorial is to make the background for the postcard. For this I'm using the golden burnt orange from the quinacridone burnt orange. And you just need a few drops, but you can use other paints as well. You need a brayer, add just a little bit of paint onto the plate. Remove excess paint if you feel that there's a little bit too much onto a scrap piece of paper and place the card in the middle. Take a scrap piece of paper and cover it. This is to remove the paint outside of the postcard. Okay, so this is the first layer, and as you can see it's picked up some bits from which were on the plate. I think it's quite interesting. This gives it an old feel to it. However, for the next layer I decided to clean up the plate a little bit and start with my second layer. Let the card dry well, the first layer, and then go on to make the second layer. I used Titan Green Pale by Golden. And you only need a little bit. I had a little bit too much here, so I took off some excess paint, and then you can put the card right back down and give it a good rub. As you can see, the red is coming through the green, which I think it makes it look really nice. It gives an old feel to it, and that's the kind of effect that I wanted. Now I'm thinking about the third layer. I would like to give the image a bit more perspective, so I'm going to make a horizon by using bone black on only part of the jelly plate. The advantage of using a thin layer is that the other colors can come through a little bit, especially when the paint is quite fluid like it is with the golden. But Liquitex is fine for this too, or you can mix thicker paint with thinner paint to get the same effect. Now I'm rubbing off the excess paint because I thought it was that the piece was too large. And as you can see, I have a reference point for my card, which is great. And for the third layer, I'm just using that bottom part of the postcard. As you can see, this third layer gives a grainy feel to it. This earthy feel is exactly what I wanted for my card. I decided that this particular stamp was a bit too large, so I quickly made a smaller version of the hummingbird, literally in about 10 minutes. That's the fun with the foam. You can cut it so easily that you can quickly make a new one. I used a couple of different colors, some pink, some red brick, and some stone grey. This first one I just used the red brick to see if it was working. And then I decided to mix these colors. This is the red brick and the pink and the stone grey. So I'm covering the smaller stamp, making the feathers a little bit darker and the beak a little bit darker and the body of the hummingbird a little more orangey pink. This is always exciting to see what happens when you use the stamp on your final version, and even if things do go wrong, you can always just add a new layer and start over. But this is actually a really nice image of the bird. I like it, and I've made a couple of more stamps because I felt that this image needed something on the left here, either a bowl or a flower coming up the wall, to make it a little bit more exciting. So I used the flower stamp. This is the one I used. Always think in mirror image when you are drawing it on the craft rubber. This is not the final version because I felt that the petals needed a little bit more depth and more brighter color. So I went over it with a marker, which I will show you on a photo a little bit further on. You can decorate the card with collage paper, with markers, with more paint, with letters. This is my version, and the next image will be of the final version. It's not quite the color that is. It's a little lighter than the real life color, but it gives you an idea of what you can do to add a little bit more depth to the petals and how you can finish off your work. So this is the end of my first tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you like what I did, you can give me a thumbs up or visit my Instagram or Facebook account. Okay, thank you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.